Good morning, everyone. Happy, what day is it today? I don't even know. I think it's Wednesday. We've been camping. We went camping for 5 days and it was amazing. So I'm a little bit sunburnt and there's bites all over me and I don't know what day it is. And yeah, it's been great to ground and earth myself and connect to animals. I bought some animal medicine cards, which was really cool. And in that process of those cards, you actually choose 9 totem animals. And so both Joel and I did that for ourselves and it was really amazing. So we've come back kind of refreshed. Just lost my microphone. Gotta love going live. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you today quickly about attachments of love to money. And it's come about because I did a session with a woman yesterday and I have asked for her permission to share this information. So it's obviously anonymous, but it got me thinking about my connection of love to money. And so when a woman in particular has gone through an abusive relationship or marriage, and there are children involved, there's almost guaranteed always going to be an attachment of love to money. And if it doesn't come from that, then it comes from childhood, right? So my childhood was great, but my dad was obviously saving money and didn't inherited his Scroogeness or stinginess from his parents, and we weren't allowed to have things when we were younger. We had all the stuff that we needed, but we weren't allowed to have brand shoes or Barbie dolls or Cabbage Patch dolls or any of that stuff, right? You know, I'm scarred for life. Not really. So, but the pattern, right, is that, I don't feel valued and I don't feel loved because I'm not allowed to have those things when everyone else had those things. And I remember getting into year 12 and one of my electives was PE, sports. And I had, Safeway, Big W shoes. I'd played netball in primary school and high school and kept getting told by, that my knees are going to be no good. It's going to ruin my back if my shoes are no good. But still, my parents wouldn't buy me decent runners. And we just had Big W shoes. And we weren't poor, but it was just the way it was. And when, you go without in that way, and then in year 12, I said to Dad, I've got to get proper runners. And I remember them being $125. They were Nike runners. And it was such a big deal for them to buy me those. And, and when I had my daughter, I went crazy and gave her, when she was 1, her first birthday was Cabbage Patch doll, Barbie, all the things, all the brands, all the toys, all the stuff, all the clothes. Like, even if I had to get it on eBay, I bought her pumpkin patch stuff, and I went a bit nuts. And she was about 4 or 5 when I realized what was happening. And when we had to move, there's still boxes in the garage full of stuff, and that stuff is hard for me to let go of because it's me loving myself through money and valuing myself, right? So yesterday a client came in and she had been through an abusive marriage, and he had refused to pay any child support her at all, or the children, if she left or once she left, and that was her punishment. And so I tuned into her attachment because when she spoke about I feel like love is connected to money, I was like getting these sick feelings in my stomach, and I could see she was actually reacting as well. She was like, oh my God, this is horrible. And I'm like, this is really interesting. I mean, it's logical, right? But I hadn't thought of it yet. So I had an epiphany. And so I tuned in and I just closed my eyes. And some of the stuff we do in the Egyptian modality is we separate strings. So there might be, so it's all string theory, and Egyptian modality includes the Ibukra energetics and the Egyptian meridian system, right? Which is strings going into the body, which is pathways, all of that. And we separate strings because strings can have a knot or strings can have an attachment, right? So an attachment is someone else's string has attached to you, right? So knowing this information, it just came to me. I just needed to disconnect, and the affirmation came through something like, I can have abundance, money and love all at the same time. And that was the ultimate goal that we needed to work towards. And the stress on that goal was 9 out of 10. So it was really, really high. So I'm like, well, what if I just do my magic and just picture love and money and just tune in and see if I can see this? And it was really, really interesting because you're gonna laugh, because none of this makes sense when it first comes to me. And that's the power of intuition, is you just got to trust what you're seeing rather than trying to analyze it and get analysis paralysis, right? So I saw a breadstick, right? Love was a breadstick on this side, and wire, which was money, was wrapped around this breadstick and quite tightly, right? And so the breadstick was falling apart and was squeezed and was like barbed wire, right? And so a breadstick, I'm like, okay, so why is love a breadstick? And breadstick is hard on the outside and soft on the inside. And often that is our love journey, right? So we're quite protective, and then we're really soft underneath, and we are fragile, right? So this breadstick was fragile because money had like wrapped itself around there. So I separated the two. And as I separated money, I was like, well, I have to transform money from wire into something else. And so I asked, what are we doing here? And I got shown like a totem full of flowers. And I said to her, what's your favorite flower? Just to involve her a bit more into what was happening with me. And she said tulips, right? So we did all the colors of the tulips, and we created this totem of money and separated the two out, and, restored the breadstick so it was all good. And the sick feeling kind of God, I love the internet. It just reminded me, it got me thinking later on about, and she was crying, and I was using kinesiology and the emotions that are attached to it and what's blocking that affirmation that I can have abundance and love at the same time. It really got me thinking about my childhood, my spending habits, and then, the abusive relationship that I had, and how he used money to manipulate me, which is often the case. He was spending money without telling me. He was hoarding a whole lot of bills without telling me. He was ramping up his credit card with tens of thousands of dollars, and I just had no idea. He also didn't put me on the house title. I didn't even know. Like, I was naive. I had no idea about this stuff. I've never been taught about money other than you're not worthy, and you're not responsible and stuff like that. So I've had a recent run-in with money, and I'm going to be completely vulnerable and honest here, and my bank account ran down to $66 after Christmas, and I didn't panic. For the first time in my life, I didn't care. And not because I have a second income, because he had no money either. He's going through a whole lot of legal stuff, and we're literally scraping it. And I went from abundance to nothing, and the nothing was like the void. And the void, what we've been learning, is where it all starts. You have to start in the void, and then you have to work and build from there. And for the first time ever, I didn't panic about money, and it was amazing. And I kept out of fear and just kept saying, this is all happening for a reason, and it felt like a new beginning, and it felt like I was quitting an old relationship with money and leaving that behind, and actually creating something new for myself. And I saw a post online, which I've shared with a couple of my clients who are struggling with money, and I'm finding a lot of people are, after a big Christmas of celebrations and family and lots of presents and stuff like that. After years and years of shit and lockdowns and restrictions and whatever. So I think everyone went a bit crazy and then had no money, and it's really, really common. And so yeah, it was a really, really big lesson for me. And what I did was I saw a post, just a meme, that said that we waste on average $27 a day. And if you save $27 a day, you would have $10,000 within 12 months. And I was like, I've never actively saved. I have held on to money in my account, but I have never ever actually saved, unless I've booked a holiday and then, you know, I'm just hanging on to money again. I'm not putting it away. I'm not saving a certain amount, which is really weird because I've done wealth strategies and things like that years ago. So, you know, as you probably know, your relationship with money is a constant, I'm not going to say battle. It's a learning experience, right? And money comes and money goes, and it all connects in with this love thing. And if I can love myself when I have $0 in the bank account and all of this, like I have more outgoings than I have ingoings, then I'll be okay. And it was amazing. So, you know, have a think about what your relationship is like with money and how it is intertwined, you know, with love. Because if you have not been valued and things have been taken away from you, or you've been in scarcity, or it's been, you know, dangled like a carrot or a reward system, you know, even work in a corporate environment, which was what I was in for 20 years, they have you by the balls, mate. You know, I was thinking this morning how different I am to when I was in corporate, and how, you know, I'm experiencing, I guess, corporate through my partner, and watching that unfold, because he's starting to empower himself and really sort out his shit and do his shadow work and like really raise his vibration, and he's doing kinesiology courses and breathwork courses and all the stuff. And yet he goes into work and gets stuck there in that kind of paradigm, or that programming, or that conditioning of worthlessness, you know, not being valued. You know, he's got his boundaries, and he asks for what he wants, what he wants, and all of that stuff. Like, we're teaching him that, and it's an amazing discussion that we have all the time. And he's going great, but you're only as good as the people that are like, you know, your boss or the people managing you. And when you break free of that corporate world and that corporate paradigm, you end up being able to empower yourself and have really strong boundaries, and it's all on you. You know, it's an amazing feeling, but it's very, very scary going out on your own. So just have a think about who has you by the balls when it comes to money and obligation. Is your bank account just you know, dwindling away just with constant what do they call, direct debits coming out? Do you have control over what's happening in your bank account? I started saving $27 a day, then I made it to 30, and then now it's 40, and it's $40 a day. And I watch my bank account every day, which I never used to do because it was frightening. Because when you go into scarcity, when you're a single mum, when you only work part-time, when you've been on job seeker for 2.5 years because of lockdowns, you try not to look at your bank account, you know, and now I'm managing it every day, and I'm saving, you know, not a lot of money, but I'm saving. And that money is, I'm now able to fix my car, and I'm getting a VA soon. You know, I'm investing in myself. I'm launching a new program, and it all ties in. And you know, I have to love myself more through that money journey and disconnect love from money, right? And if you haven't watched this all the way through, and thanks for watching today, go back and have a look at what I discovered in a client where I saw love as a breadstick with wire wrapped around it, and money was that wire, and we separated the two. It was just amazing, and made the money a flower totem, and you know, it just felt so much better. And it's funny how, as a practitioner, you just give all this advice to other people, and and you don't take it yourself. Anyway, I've got to go because I've got a client now. Thank you for watching. Watch the replay if you haven't watched it already, and if you haven't watched the whole thing, and let me know if you're watching the replay or you're watching live, where you're watching from, and if you had any questions about it, because with kinesiology we can balance out a whole lot of stuff. We can do aspecting, we can do kinesiology, we do energy work, we do weird freaky shit like I did yesterday. So thank you to my client who allowed me to share her session, and hi if you're watching, because I know you will be. And I'm working a lot with women now. We're working with money and your relationship with money and your relationship with love. I get I've had like 10 or 15 women approach me since telling everyone about our love story, that they've done the same thing as what I suggested and called their man in. And I love hearing these stories. So, we can do amazing stuff. I'm working with a lot of women at the moment, more so than the men. I'm working with teens. I've got my amazing kinesiology course coming up in March, so the 11th to 12th of March. There's only a few spots left. We've actually got some teens doing this course, and hopefully I'm going to try and get my daughter to come along as well. It's just amazing. It's just such an amazing course. It is magical. It is beyond the realm of description. So the early bird special finished yesterday, but stay tuned for a new special that's I'm going to extend something. So let me know if you're interested in doing that, and we'll have a chat and see if you're suitable to join the course. Anyway, gotta go. Have a great day.